come to order. Good evening. This is the September 7th, 2023 meeting of the Apple Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Committee. To start the meeting, I'd like to invite everyone to stand and face the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. First order would be to approve tonight's agenda. And has everyone had a chance to review it? And are there any changes to what has been published?
No.
If not, I'd like a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
As published.
Second. We
have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as published. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. That is carried. And next is audience participation, and we have allotted 10 minutes for that. There is no one in the audience. We can assume that there'll be nobody speaking tonight. And we'll move on then to the approval of the August meetings, the August meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Are there any suggested changes?
Make a motion to approve the August 2023 minutes.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the August minutes as published. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's also unanimous. That is carried. And then item 5 on the agenda is Recreation Division updates. We're going to hear from 2 staff tonight. And Eric, did you want to do kind of a segue into that, or?
Sure. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this evening we've got Nate Rosa, our Recreation Superintendent, and Sharon Lemke, our Senior Center Coordinator, here to just give a brief overview of some things they're working on or things that are happening within their area. So first, I think we'll have Nate step up. As the committee is aware, Nate's a relatively new employee with the City of Apple Valley. He started in about June as a Recreation Superintendent. He's been doing a great job. And so tonight he's just going to give a little brief update on some things that he's got his fingers in related to Parks and Recreation. So I'll turn it over to Nate so he can give his presentation.
I want to say thanks to the chair and the committee chairman and then the committee members here for having me. I also want to thank you for the warm welcome I had right off the bat when we did our tour, so that was kind of nice. Got a nice warm welcome from my staff too, so apparently they want me to stick around a little longer. But just to give you a quick update on a few of the things we're looking at here, just a brief overview. One of the things that hit us hard this year statewide is our air quality with all the fires that have been going on. And a bunch of cities were trying to figure out, what do we do? Do we stay open? Do we stay closed? And what do we do for staff members? Or what do we do for our patrons? And so there hasn't really been anyone that stepped up and did a formality of here's a policy or here's a guideline. So what we did here is we pulled some stuff off of the Air Now website and the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency and came up with these guidelines for here. Passed it through HR, they were okay with everything, put it through all of our staff here. And as you can see here, this will give us some guidelines of what we're gonna do. So rather than just trying to figure out, okay, do we close the day, do we not close the day, what do we tell patrons, what do we tell residents here when they call? This has now been handed out to all of our staff, so we've got a direction of where to go. It's still got some, room in there to play if necessary, but now we have an actual document that we can point to on here. One of the nice things too is right here in Apple Valley, we have one of the actually AQI sensors that are on the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, so we get a really good, up-to-date, accurate position of where we are at here. Next thing that one of the projects, I'll go back. Questions on there?
Before you move on, back when we had all the Canadian wildfire, smoke in the air, what was the highest AQI that was recorded here in Apple Valley?
So from my recollection, we had one day where it was 279 in that area, and we did close some of our programs and facilities during that time. Other than that, we didn't have anything that really jumped over the 201 mark, and the 201 mark, as you can see on here, is where we're going to look at closing all of our stuff down. So luckily for us, we didn't have too many days where we had to really force that issue or go up on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Another thing that we're working on here is a scholarship program. You know, with the way that the economy is going and people looking for a little assistance here and there, we will start putting this together. We've gathered some information from a few other cities on it here, and just trying to see what they are going to do for that, what they do for their program, so we can kind of mimic that and then create our own program on here. In looking at here, you know, these are the outlines that we're trying to look at here: application process, qualifying activities. You can read the other few that are on there. One of the big things is trying to come up with a positive program name. You know, usually when you say scholarship or financial aid, some people think it's frowned upon. But then if you don't use those names, people don't know what the program is. So we're trying to find the best way to name this, open for suggestions too, if you have any that come up. And then funding sources. Our greatest asset here is some of our community members and our organizations. So we will look to see what we can have for sponsorships from them. Made a few connections already. We won't name them right now just because this process isn't in place to go down that road. But when that comes time, we will visit with them and see what they can do to help sponsor this program. I'm looking for 1 or 2 people on here, and we've got a certain dollar amount that we're gearing towards to right now as well. Questions on a scholarship program? Okay.
Actually, I do have one, sorry. With the scholarship program, would that also cover some of the access to some of our programs and facilities? I'm thinking the water park or things like that, so it's for all facilities and programs that the city offers?
We're going to look at what we want to put those on. It probably going to go towards like adult sports where there's a large registration fee or anything that usually a team will find a sponsorship for on that. In my prior experience running the aquatic park in my last job, you could use it towards a season pass, but you couldn't use it towards a daily pass. And so with us and our setup right now, we currently have just daily passes. So that's something we'd have to vet and look through and go from there. And again, we'll take recommendations from the committee here as well.
Thanks.
Another thing that I'm being tasked with here is a comprehensive program plan. That's kind of the name has right now. We don't really know what we're going to call it, but it's a marketing business plan. And a lot of the things that that's going to help us with here is, you know, again, we're currently reviewing plans, but it's going to help us guide us in the future, especially with the upcoming referendum. You know, if that passes, we're going to need some guidelines to help us as to what we're building, what we're revamping, what we're going to need for staffing needs, how we prioritize some services, and then just determining some future needs as well. So if you can read through here, you'll see what we're gearing towards right now. And again, just looking through a few other ones, we've got a few that we've liked that we found from around the country. And so once that's done, we'll put a RFP together and go down that road of working with a company that can assist us in this. Again, quick and brief, but any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. The next one is our Apple Valley Family Aquatic Center and Redwood Pools. Just a brief look at 2023 and the upcoming 2024. Here's our numbers that we end up having for season attendance. And the reason we want to show you these today here is these are coming back around to pre-COVID numbers, so that's a good sign for us. You can see, you know, our open swim, the numbers there. Our water walking actually increased by a couple thousand for the users this year, so that was a great asset for us to have on here. You'll see in the second number there, our group numbers are still a little low. We were closer to the 5,000, 6,000 range pre-COVID, and some groups are still leery about coming back, and so that's something that we will look forward to marketing and things of that nature to try and get some more of our groups back here to get that number back up. Redwood Pool as well, you can see their numbers on here, and those are pretty average for what we have for our numbers on here. The reason I bring this up is, again, you know, we feel we can do better on these numbers. We've been touring some of our neighboring cities here and other community pools that see how they do things. Some of my knowledge from my prior job to bring it here and see how we can do a better job marketing, increase those numbers, and make it an overall better experience for our patrons and everyone that are there as well. The other part that we did here is we started tracking in August what our hourly attendance is. And the reason we want to do this is August is usually the slower month for a pool, but we want to know where we are being hit hard and where we're kind of light. And you can see from that 3 o'clock on time frame is where we're lower on some numbers. And so this gives us an opportunity here, knowing this, do we go down a different road, or what do we offer for here? And I'll jump into the next frame here. We're at 20 to 24 pool season. So do we add special events? Do we do a little parent time on there? Do we do some special things where it's an all-female, male swim, as you can see on there, or even adult onlys? Those are some things that we're getting questions on from patrons on here. Do we do different private rentals, offering morning time slots before we open? And then with that, can we do some rate changes? I know right now our hourly rate is a little steep for what we do to rent the entire pool. So is there a way we can modify that? Make it more affordable, make it more enticing for groups to come here for it. And then again, with that 3 to 6 times frame on there, do we do some different entrance rates? Do we do a BOGO coupon? Do we buy one, get one half off? Do we do a twilight rate? We're also looking at some options. One of our neighbors here does 2 sessions where it's a 4-hour session in the morning, break for a half hour, 4-hour session in the afternoon. They also have an option of a daily pass. So these are things, like an all-day pass, sorry. So these are things that we're taking consideration now, hope to have some ideas come up here in the next month so that we can move forward. And again, we'll take input and everything from the committee on that as well. Any questions on anything with the pool here?
Yeah, I got a question on the timing where the attendance by time. Are those people walking in the door at that time, or like there's only 2 people in the pool at 5 o'clock?
Correct. So to clarify on that, thank you for asking that question. I forgot to mention, that's people through the door. So that's not people that are there. But we want to increase those people through the door at certain times so that we are matching what we have in our earlier time slots on there. So yes, that is people at that time coming in. We didn't have the opportunity, or didn't make the opportunity, to track how many people were still in the pool. That's something that we will look for next season as well, though.
Thanks.
Hey, Nate, excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there has got to be a lot of information available from surrounding communities on what works and what doesn't work as far as pool attendance, right? So
Yes.
you have access to that, or?
Yep. So I'm part of the Minnesota Recreation Park Association Aquatic Section. We actually just had a meeting yesterday, and that is one of the big topics that came up, is all of this and what everyone's doing and what's been working, what's not. And a lot of things changed since COVID happened. The session thing kind of came because we wanted to, facilities want to get as many people in the door as possible, so that it wasn't just, we're limited on numbers. 250 was the max for most pools, so that just the same 250 people weren't using it all day. So that's where that came from, and some of the pools are finding success on it. It has its pros, it has its cons. Season passes have their pros and cons, twilight rate pros and cons, so they all do. So we're vetting that and trying to see what the best option is for us here, knowing that we have our neighbors doing similar things around us. So we got to make sure that we're doing what's best for us.
And for the citizens of Apple Valley.
That's what I mean. When I say us, all of us here in the city of Apple Valley, and even our
I would think,
patrons.
I don't know, having a teenage, 13 through 17 party at Redwood on a warm July night, and have pizzas available, and I gotta believe that you get a bunch of people attending that. Are things like that possible or doable, or have
They
they
are.
been done, or?
So you can rent out both of those pools privately. We do get more private rentals over at Redwood than we do at the Family Aquatic Center, mainly because of the price point. A lot of it is the exclusivity too of, it's got, Redwood's got that smaller ambiance, so it's easier to do a smaller pool there.
Well, I was thinking more, city sponsored, not.
Yep. So even city sponsored on there, it's like those all-female, male swims. That is something that I did in my prior job. And so based on religion or faith or other reasons, you were able to come to those events. Did some private outreach rentals for a group of Hope Kids. It's actually a local group here. They came and they do a tour of different pools throughout the seasons here, and one of the pools was my prior job that they would come to. I'd like to see them come here too, and they're one of the groups that like to do the early morning swims. And so they're kids that have special needs, whether it's life-threatening, end-of-life things that they're facing, or just long-term things that they're facing. they try to bring in them and their families. So those are the type of things that we're trying to shoot for. Yes, could we do an all-teen one similar to an all-adult males? Sorry, not adult male, an adult-only one? Yes, we could target those and see what happens. With that, we'd go for marketing. That's one of the things I think where we can really step it up is show our community and our people that visit here what we have and what we'll be able to do. So those are things. And again, if you have ideas, shoot them our way. We'll vet them, look through them, and then see what we can offer.
What's your goal for having your program put together for the 24 pool season?
So fee structures and everything are due in October, and so then they get approved in November, so we have to have those ready to go by then. And then we do want to implement many of these already coming next season.
Yeah, I mean, so, when do you think you'll have your schedule of events kind of put together?
So that is, I don't know when our spring summer brochure comes out right now, but that's when that will be put together.
It's in
Kayla?
March, maybe?
March, okay.
Yep.
So March is when we'll initially start that, just be prior to that, and then all that'll be ready to go in March.
You could come back, we could talk about it some more in March or February?
Sure. If you'd like that, we
Yeah.
definitely can do that.
I think that'd be worthwhile.
We do take staff input. We did do an all-staff survey this year. I know, Lisa, that your child works for us as well. And so that's something that the staff really appreciated. It's great to get their feedback because they're there every day. They know what the patrons are saying, and it's easier for them to relay it to us. So that survey that we did is going to help us tremendously moving forward here. Any other questions?
So Nate, on some of these special events and some of these things that you're looking at adding, as far as a lifeguard situation, is that going to be an issue at all, or?
We are very lucky here. Staff, that Steve Skinner here is done very well on getting our lifeguards. We have not had a lifeguard shortage, much like other cities have, so it's been very, very successful for us. Most of these type of events are things that we would look to do outside of our regular hours. So if we close at 6, this will be a 6 to 8. So it's an addition as well, so we're actually not taking time away from people that are paying for the day, which is a nice thing, because I know that was an issue when that occurred at my prior job, made the changes, and that's the route that we look to go here as well.
But you still need to have lifeguards for,
We do, yep. But with the costs, it'll be a separate charge, separate fee for these events. And so with that would cover the cost of the facility usage, cover the cost of our staff, and, look to turn a profit for those events.
and can a lifeguard do as many hours a day as they want, or is there any restriction there? Or?
There's no restrictions. We don't want to put them out there all day long on a long blistering heat Sunday, but what we will do is, we have a shift change right around 3 o'clock, and so some of our staff actually go that whole entire day. On days like that, we'll look to have staff come in at 3, and they will stay to that 8 o'clock time frame, if you will, if that's what we're going to shoot for. And we already have staff that come, that are there later, because we do the water walking in the evening after 6. So these type of events we'd be looking to do potentially in the front part of the pool, still have the water walking in the back. And so then the increase in lifeguards wouldn't be much more than what we already have on staff.
Okay.
We also do a great training program where some of our staff will come in and we get them ready for everything, whether they're a brand new guard or not. And because of our training program on here, we're very healthy in our lifeguard staff.
Good.
Does that answer your questions?
Yep.
Okay. And then I want to thank the committee here. You helped us a lot on our new Parks and Recreation logos. You guys decided on 2 of them, so we appreciate that. Gave us the liberty here to use them as we need in both situations. So just to give you some quick examples to show where your hard work has gone to, we have gone through and got some staff shirts already, and that is one of the newer logos here, similar, different from what we had for that city logo. And these are the shirts that you're going to see in those referendum videos that we saw earlier here today. And so we want that staff to all look the same when we do that, to get that same message out on here. And along with that, we did go out and get a new tent and table cover on here. These are things that Eric will actually be using this weekend at our concert at Kelly Park. You can see we've got kind of both logos on here. In order to get the city logo on there, which is very similar to the other logo you approved for Parks and Rec, we left that Parks and Rec part off of there so it didn't get, it just didn't fit well. But we took your advice and we used those logos and everything that you put together in this scenario as well.
Oh, nice.
So thank you for that. And that is all I have at this time. Any other questions?
You gonna make those shirts available for purchase?
I will have to see how we go for that. And so,
I'd be interested in a Park and Rec shirt.
okay, Okay, we'll note that, and we'll see what we can get you on here. I do know that we are looking at a bunch of other styles and shirts too, different gear, you know, whether it's a cardigan or a sweater or a pullover. So I will see about,
Sweatshirts, yeah.
I'll see about getting that extended to you as well.
All right, thanks, Nick.
All right,
Keep in
thank you.
mind, we don't get paid for doing this.
That's right. That's of course.
It might be
phrase has
a
to
way
be right.
of kind of saying thank you, you know?
I gotta see what we're allowed to do here, so I'm still newish on here, I'm just over 2 months, so I gotta make sure that I'm following the right rules, but great staff over here will help me get to that answer for you.
All right, thank you, Nate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sharon, I think you're on deck here.
Good evening. So I am Sharon Lemke. I am a newer recreation supervisor with the Apple Valley Seniors. I came on in November after Bridget left. Whoops, I have this. First slide, the seniors do a fiscal year for membership. So we had 912 members in the 2022-23. And so that ran from July 1st of 22 through the 30th of 23. So we just began our new year of membership, the 1st of July. We started off with a membership kickoff and had sponsors with ice cream and treats, and kind of got everybody in the mode to renew their memberships, and a lot of new people coming in. And at this time, from July through, must have been August, we're at 700. So we're seeing an uptick in a lot of new members. Our goal is always 1,000 members, which we were at pre-COVID. Most people join to find a connection, and it's really rewarding to see them find their way and make some very good friends. Some of them will just join for one activity. They're looking to line dance or quilt, and then they end up coming 2, 3, sometimes some of them come 5 days a week. So it's just a really good feeling to see them come in and make a good connection. I also need to brag about our senior center staff. We have a great team and work really well together with our 2 facility coordinators, and then one maintenance person.
Sharon, can I just interrupt for
Yeah, of course.
a second? Is there a cost to become a member?
It is $15
Okay.
for a year.
So, I mean, so when you're coming up on renewal time, don't you just like send out emails or something like this to get?
They actually
to get the
get,
renewals? I mean,
to get renewals, they will get, working together. We're going backwards? We're going
we're in the
forward.
wrong
Where
way.
do you want to be?
I thought, we're going back.
Want to be here?
One more up. Thank you. So we advertise in our newsletter, and then we also send out a membership form and letting them know it's time to renew within their newsletter. And if they don't, they have a choice to get the newsletter, the Gazette, via mail or email. So that's
As you said, there's an uptick in membership. This looks to me like there's a downtick in membership.
right. So we just started in July.
Well, that's why I was asking. I mean,
Yeah.
don't you just send out the renewal and then,
And we still have people, today we had 14 new members. I had already presented this or sent this in to Kayla. So it continues to grow. When I did these numbers, we were already, I think it was at least 50 members ahead of what we were last year. So it just continues to grow, and they kind of,
so
and now
trickle
especially,
in over
they
the-
trickle in, they don't all renew at once, but we have it like this week has been like almost like a back to school. They're getting, it's fall is coming, the weather's getting cold, so they're all coming in to find out what they can do and get out of the house.
So you basically got 10 more months to get to your
We
1,000.
do, yes.
Thanks.
See if I can go the right way now.
Yep.
So here's kind of a breakdown of where our members are residing. A good chunk, of course, is in Apple Valley. And then we get a lot coming from Lakeville, Burnsville, Rosemont, Farmington as well. And a lot of them do dual memberships within, because it's so reasonable. They'll play, or they'll go to Lakeville and Rosemont, and sometimes Apple Valley. Kind of depends on the activities. If Duplicate Bridge is one of them, they want to play multiple days. So they'll play at our place at Thursdays, maybe Rosemont on Monday, Lakeville on Wednesday. This would be our executive committee, very active group. We have a brand new president that just started the beginning of July, Ellen Maliki. And she has, one of her goals is just trying to get the seniors out more in the community and doing more things and be more visible in the community. And trying to let people know that they're not just activities for your, 75 to 90. We have a lot of active groups for that 50 to 65 age group too. She said she has a lot of friends that are like, ooh, that's not, that's for old people. So she's trying to bring in a younger crowd. So this would be an example of our monthly calendar. As you can see, there's a lot of regularly scheduled events, and then we try to fit in a bunch of either crafts or trips. And this picture here was one of the trips that we got going to the St. Croix River Cruise, which are the trips have been really hard to fill. Transportation, coach transportation is really expensive. This one we coordinated with Lakeville, and we're able to get our number and get them able to go. They also did the Jersey Boys at the Chanhassen.
No.
Yeah. So this will show all our cards and social games that the seniors do. We did our first Freedom Days committee came to us asking for us to do an event. So they decided to do Ripper floats. And we sold over 200 floats that day. And there's a lot of families that came out and participated, which was great because it was even happening while Hayes was under construction. And then this photo too, I think this is our new storytelling group, which has become very popular. The day we did the floats made them decide that they want to also do a tent. So we might have to get the information on where you got your tent and get them with a logo tent too. Here we have some of our more active activities. We have 2 different bike groups. The Fun Folks on Spokes, and they ride on Wednesdays and Fridays. And we'll go on longer trips, and they often stop for lunch along the way. So they'll do like Lake Harriet, they'll go to Stillwater, Welch to Red Wing, Hopkins to Edina. And then we have more of a local group, and they're called Seniors on the Bikes, or SOBs, they call themselves. And they meet Tuesdays and Fridays. And they also meet, that group also has schedule in the winter for indoor hiking. So they just to stay together over the winter. We just started today a new core and cardio exercise class. We've had a morning stretch group Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays for years that they do the same workout. And so we had an instructor come in today, and she's doing it for free and offering more of a cardio and music type of thing. It seemed very popular. And then we also have some creative events and activities to participate. We also just got a new influx of some newer members because we've always had a senior center jam, so they've kind of freshened that program up with some fun instruments and singing, and they perform once a month. And then some of the groups that are renting at the senior center, we have 2 churches renting right now, one on Saturdays and the other on Sundays. Birthday showers, memorials, and we had a big increase in grad parties have been very popular. We also have regular Rubik's Cube tournaments. They've been a good returning group. And then a week from today, next Thursday from 10:30 to 1, we have our senior expo, which is kind of that bottom picture. So they come in Wednesday night and they'll set up probably that same setup, and they have 40 plus vendors coming in. And then they'll also do in the Yosemite room, they'll do presentations on neuropathy, Medicare, and co-op living, along with a bunch of gift card giveaways. And they bring in a big crowd. So this is kind of a breakdown of how many rentals that we did for 2022, the number of rentals, and then along with how many hours were reserved. And as you can see, some of them are a little more extravagant than others.
Oh, that's really impressive.
Yeah, they hire decorators to come in, and
Yeah.
they do a good job. And so this is our rentals so far this year. They're already, some of the rentals are rising above last year already, which is a good sign. And graduations, they're already calling, and we're encouraging that, because last year we were booked and busy all of June and July. They're completely booked.
Huh.
Yes, I think that might be it.
I have a question
Sure.
about the rentals. I seem to recall that there was, it's great to see the numbers going up, because I seem to recall that was an opportunity of growth, that people
Right,
did not
right.
know that this was had some great spaces for people's.
Yep, and that's on Nate and I have discussed, along with the whole marketing strategy, to try to get even more, the word out there even more. It is, yeah, there's a lot of word of mouth, a lot of parties that'll come in, and they had been at a party last weekend and they're looking to have their party, in a month or two, and so they'll book from another rental.
So you're growing on the rentals, but there is still some room to grow, is what
There
I'm
is
hearing.
very much room to grow,
Okay.
yes,
So
yes.
if people are interested,
Uh-huh,
to give you a call and check out
Yes,
some of these great spaces.
sure.
Awesome.
yes.
How do you go about looking for new business? I mean, how do you?
New business, we need to try to get more out on Facebook,
Okay,
that type of thing. Other than that, we do an ad in the town pages to get in there, some advertising, and it'd be nice, we want to kind of track and see, we need to do a better job of tracking where they heard about our facility.
so for like weddings, do you compete with Valleywood as far as?
Weddings, we do not. We have Valleywood has the luxury of the alcohol situation,
Okay.
where we have to have an off-duty police officer come in, and they're charged for that.
Okay.
And right now, they have to have the same caterer that does their food has to provide and serve the alcohol. So that is kind of a deterrent, where sometimes it just keeps adding to their cost. And then there's an alcohol fee too.
To do it at the
To do
senior
it at
center
the senior
versus the
center.
Valleywood, okay.
Right.
Can you provide, things like coffee to, I noticed you had a number of homeowners associations that.
We haven't. The coffee that we have at the senior center is provided by the seniors. That comes out of their budget. That's what the membership provides. The coffee, cappuccino, cocoa costs, along with the printing costs and all of those things with their membership. So they provide that. They can bring their own in. But other than that, the coffee cost for the seniors is very high.
No, well, I was thinking about, you're renting a room out to a homeowners association.
Right.
What do you offer that association? Is it just a space?
Just the space and furniture.
You can't,
We could look into that, sure.
yeah. That's probably all it would take, is just one of those big coffee urns and
Yeah, for sure.
sugar and cups. And,
Well, not a lot of places that you rent from will. It's nice to throw in coffee, but that's
well,
not.
we're trying to,
Just
we're,
get 'em.
we're, trying
No,
to
I understand, yeah, just to
encourage the
reel them in.
rentals,
Uh-huh.
Keeping the prices reasonable is always a big
Right.
I have another question of what is the, like, to be a member, what is the age?
55 and over, or married to somebody that's 55 and over.
55 and over. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I was,
welcome.
'cause you said 50 and then. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah, 55.
55, okay. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other items that either the staff or the committee wish to discuss tonight?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, just a reminder, I know the committee's well aware of it, but just a reminder to the public that might be listening tonight or might be listening or watching a rerun. We are having a Parks referendum on Tuesday, November 7th. All residents of Apple Valley should be receiving a brochure in the mail within the next couple of weeks that outlines the projects that would be accomplished if the referendum were successful, the tax impacts, etc. You can go to our website and find out information about the referendum if you want to prior to getting the brochure. We'll be hosting a number of open houses starting on the 18th of September. Again, that schedule's on our website. Those dates and locations and times are found in the brochure as well. We encourage residents to become aware of and educated about what's in the referendum so that when they go to the polls and vote yes or vote no, they're doing it from a place of education and not just a place of I'm not sure, so I'm just going to vote one way or the other. We do want people to be aware of it. We do want people to tell their neighbors about it so that people do show up and vote one way or the other on the referendum.
Absolutely. Thank you. And with that, if there's nothing else, I think we're looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. It's unanimous, and we are adjourned. We're off the air.
All right.